UEFA Europa League final. Now, this tournament is second tier European tournament level. We have first UEFA Champions League, and then we have UEFA Europa League. We already talked about UEFA Conference League, which is a third tier in this lineup. But when it comes to the second tier, we have UEFA Europa League, we have Bayer Leverkusen versus Atalanta. The final that not everybody expected, but for sure people did expect Bayer Leverkusen at some point in the Europa League final, when Bayer Leverkusen out of nowhere this season started to produce magic and never lose. They already have a nickname called Neverkusen. And so the point of this magic is that I believe for 50 matches they are unbeaten, and they are unbeatable so far to this day. And when I'm recording this, Bayer Leverkusen still have 2 matches to go to play in Bundesliga and then this Europa League final. So in total they have only 3 matches left to make the impossible in the modern era into reality. I don't know if this ever happened. I've heard something along those lines of in season of 1962, 1963, some team actually did this when they played in few tournaments and they were able to actually not lose once. And the Bayer Leverkusen is about to do the same. But when it comes to that team, I need to double check my history because, and in the comments below, comment if I'm wrong, but I don't think that team has played in European tournament like Bayer Leverkusen. And Bayer Leverkusen is in Bundesliga, which is one of the top tier leagues in the world, and plus German Cup as well. They still have to do it, achieve it. But with that all being said, they are incredibly close to make unbelievable history. Not FC Barcelona, not Real Madrid, not Manchester City, not Bayern Munich, not everybody else. They never did this. And out of all teams, is Bayer Leverkusen, who is doing that history, is actually unbelievable, because Bayer Leverkusen was that team who never won the Bundesliga, was always behind Bayern Munich, and they were always those type of, well, not to be harsh, and sorry Bayer Leverkusen fans, but it was like always a B team, right? Like it's kind of a losers a little bit, because they're not the top, they're kind of getting there into that territory, but not really. And so at the times when they couldn't win the Bundesliga, but they were close, still didn't happen at that time, right? They finished second plenty of times behind Bayern Munich or behind somebody else in their history. But yes, so now 𝗔𝗯cie 𝗦𝗋𝗋, legendary player who used to be in Real Madrid, in Liverpool, he was able to, and Bayern Munich as well, actually. So he, for some, somehow stepped into the Bayer Leverkusen job and rewrote the generational trauma, generational upsets of Bayer Leverkusen. That DNA of Bayer Leverkusen, them not being good enough pretty much all the time, rewrote that, just replaced that out of the gates, through the water, and just placed his reality, which is, no, we're gonna be the winners, we will have the victory mentality, and they did it. It's crazy. I hope that I'm not gonna jinx it, putting this video just a little bit early than I should have probably. I hope Bayer Leverkusen will achieve this greatness by making a treble, winning everything, German Cup, Europa League, and Bundesliga they already won, which is nice. But I hope that they will make it in a way where they're not gonna lose once. Only 3 matches left to not lose. at the time of my recording. So I really hope that it's gonna happen. And yes, I do have a team to root for in this final, which is Bayer Leverkusen. Now we're gonna talk about Atalanta just a little bit. They are facing Atalanta, and Atalanta is an Italian team who is playing really good, solid football. They revived themselves after a couple seasons of sleepers, I would say. They were not on our ears lately, but they used to be. They back in the season 2019-2020, they faced PSG in semi-finals of Champions League. If I'm not mistaken, it was semi-finals. Yes, versus Atalanta. Atalanta being in semi-finals of Champions League. Like, wow, that was a while ago. And I just realized when I said that, wow, they were there 4 years ago. They were. So, and then what happened was, yes, they had some success, but it wasn't that big. But now they're back. Which is nice, because the more strong teams we have in Europe, the better. Honestly, I feel like when it comes to, like, let's say top teams, not every top team is in a great shape right now. Definitely they can do better. If they do better, now the question becomes on who is better among the best, right? But now, for example, even last season, if we take last season, there were times when we were like, well, let's say in Champions League, right? Manchester City made it because clearly they were the best team. They were, fully shaped. Everything is awesome in there, fully structured. But Inter was like kind of like a dark horse, right? And then if you see the semifinals, the quarterfinals, they were not that interesting. Like, a lot of teams were lackluster because a lot of them had problems. This season, it was a bit better, but if you think about it, the supposed top teams still, half of them have their issues. For example, Barcelona still have their own issues. Milan, they have their issues. Juventus still have their issues a bit. They're not as strong as they used to be. For example, also Chelsea. Where is Chelsea? Manchester United still have their issues. Liverpool, who knows what's gonna happen. This season they were better than last year, but it's still not great as it can be. They lost to Atalanta, by the way, Liverpool. And Liverpool lost to Atalanta, by the way. So Liverpool losing to Atalanta 3-0 was crazy itself. And so Atalanta definitely had nice route. They won Marseille pretty confidently as well, 3-0 in the second leg of the semifinals. And so Atalanta is coming strong against Bayer Leverkusen, so it's going to be a great battle. Honestly, Atalanta could make a surprising thing by beating Bayer Leverkusen. That is not out of the equation. That can happen. But looking at Bayer Leverkusen, the way how they are very unbeatable, there were various times this season where Bayer Leverkusen was on the verge of losing, almost lost, and then suddenly they prevailed, and in the last minute they scored and they equalized the situation and made it a draw or made it a win. And so even like last match they had, which is Bayer Leverkusen versus Roma in second leg of semifinals, they were about to lose their streak of unbeatability, but somehow in the 96th minute they made it happen. I don't watch Bayer Leverkusen's games. I usually watch highlights, but this time when it comes to the semifinals, I ended up watching it and seeing Bayer Leverkusen versus Roma, and then Roma winning 2-0, and then again Bayer Leverkusen somehow scored the first goal, and then the second goal was and people needed that second goal. People wanted to see that second goal, and it did come in the last minute. Before that last minute, they actually missed obvious chance to score at the time too, like in 94th minute when they attacked like 3 Bayern players versus one defender and just goalkeeper. They were attacking, and suddenly Patrick Schick just shot from afar and tried to like put it in, but it just didn't happen in 94th minute. At that time I thought, oh wow, maybe they should have not done it, maybe they're gonna lose their streak right now. But then suddenly, still in the 96th minute, it was last minute already of the match, suddenly I forgot who it was, unfortunately, but that player dribbled and then scored, and place went nuts. Bayer Leverkusen fans went nuts in that stadium. So, and I was like, wow, holy smokes. I was not expecting, I mean, I was expecting it because they did it before, but I was really worried that they're gonna lose their streak, and then they didn't. So they equalized it, even if they didn't have to equalize it, because Bayer Leverkusen still had more goals on aggregate to pass Roma, but they still wanted to score that goal, make it 2-2, so that they don't lose their streak. And so they scored, and I was like, everybody was happy. So taking that into consideration, I actually don't know who's gonna actually win, Bayern versus Atalanta, but I'm gonna be rooting for Bayern's unbeatable streak. It's so close, and let's make it happen. Let's make history. That was my preview of this match, UEFA Europa League final between Bayer Leverkusen versus Atalanta. It's gonna be streaming at Paramount Plus for those of you who are in the United States, or if you want, go to a bar, check it out. It's gonna be on May 22nd at 12 p.m. Exciting times, and I'll catch you on that match. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe to this channel. Please hit the subscribe button. It will help the channel Soccerland spread the word, and it will help more Americans to be interested in soccer and in European football as well. So next we have UEFA Champions League preview to look forward to. I'm gonna film that video, and we'll catch you on that one. Thank you very much. I'll see you later.